All right, so we're live here from the Delaware Contemporary. I'm excited to be in the galleries at a safe distance with Pennsylvania-based artist Nanci Hersh, who is a mixed media artist, and her work is part of the exhibition The Farthest from Ordinary, currently on view at the Delaware Contemporary. And we're excited to have Nanci here to tell us a little bit about her background and her work and her process today. So thanks for joining us, Nanci.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be in this show. My background is I have an undergraduate degree from Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, and a graduate degree in printmaking from the University of Hawaii. And currently, I am also besides being a practicing artist and teaching artist, I'm the executive director of the Delaware Institute for the Arts and Education. So, lots of different hats.
Awesome. We wear many hats, so our heads are very sweaty. I feel like your work actually encompasses a lot of different medium, and the body of work that you've put together kind of spans a bunch of different topics and experiences. Can you tell us a little bit about the work here in the galleries with us?
Sure. Like you mentioned, I am a mixed media artist, and this work was actually a return to printmaking. And historically, printmaking is a very democratic process where you're making multiples, you're working on a smaller scale, and it came out of some personal experience where I wanted to return to black and white, more neutral palette, and I started working small. And because I do use a lot of mixed media and recycled materials, I was doing some larger paintings on tie-back or synthetic non-woven paper. And another artist I know went to a place called the Art of Recycle in Ephrata, and she found a big roll of this paper, 16 inches wide. And she called me and she said, "I think you should get this, Nanci." And I'm like, I don't know if I need it. But I ended up, she said, no, I'm getting it for you. And so in the beginning I was working 16 by 16, and then I needed to have them go beyond the square and the rectangle. And I think that is tied into Farthest from Ordinary, because when you think of a landscape, because these are referencing nature and water. I call this my waterfall series, because I look to patterns in nature. My work is really influenced by nets and netting, thinking about what we hold and what we let go of. And I also swim lap, so underneath the water is all the reflections of light and pattern. So I started playing with that, and for these, the 16-inch square just expanded, and I wanted them to be a larger scale, like body size, and I just opened the press, and I would just print, then add some more, print, add some more, and then I would put them up, and then I started adding other materials. So the collage materials, I'd work back into them with the brayer, with graphite, with a brush, with my hand, with a spray bottle to get different textures. So that's how these evolved.
Awesome. And so for your process, I just want to clarify, these are going through the printing press. This
Yes.
whole entire sheet, which is larger than your body, almost twice as tall as you are,
Right.
standing there with it, is going through the press, and you're continuing to work back into it. And I think that is a great segue into that concept of Farthest from Ordinary, because it feels like you're pushing the printing press and printing as a medium in a new and different direction. Is this something that you've been working on for a long time, or an approach that just kind of came to you over the last 10 months as things have been flipped on their head, you're flipping your practice?
That's a great question, but this actually started a couple years ago. So my work is always in response to what's going on in my life or in the world. And at that time, there was a death in the family. I lost my mom, and I was really kind of processing that, thinking about grief, and thinking about paring things down and working in a simpler way, but then they just took off a life of their own. And I think that really is what this is about, the idea of process. So I didn't start with a finished, I want this to look like this. I let the work dictate. And so I would start with different materials. I would lay them on a plate. I would do the impression of it, the relief of it. Others I would work directly on plate or directly on paper, and I would just open the press. I had a tabletop etching press in my studio, and I would just open the press, roll it, tighten it, roll it, open out and bring it out. So then I would hang them up and then stand back and work back into them and go back in again. So it was like this collaboration with the work itself. It was like a dance with work.
Well, and I imagine that sometimes the partner is a willing partner and that your dance is going really well. Were there any challenges that you encountered or like massive failures or failing forward in what you were doing as it was dictating the process to you?
I think what a lot of the thought was like, how would I present these? I think that was the biggest thing. Like, what do I do with them now? And so in my studio, at one point I had like 18 of them hanging, and they really have this wonderful organic feel. And then in different spaces, they might need to be a little bit more formally presented or whatever. So I've been working with that with some collectors and things. So that's probably the biggest challenge, because they are on paper, and they do have a life of their own, and I want them to have that, but I also want them to really have presence wherever they are.
So what else are you working on? Are you continuing this series? Are you continuing this way of working? Or are you setting out on a new adventure, hopefully something new in 2021?
I've pivoted like 360 degrees. I've been working on this kind of very loose, abstracted work for quite a few years. I mean, in some of my work prior to this, you can see different elements, maybe koi, or a lot of work. A lot of my work is about water. So I have a backyard koi pond, and I'm also hiking with my dogs in the water, and they love to swim, at least one of them does. And but this I would totally abstract, and now my work is figurative. I have a new series called Portraits from the Zoom Room, and so I've been capturing all the daily different Zoom meetings that I'm in. So that's a whole new series. But again, it's in response to what's going on in my life and in the world. So the work now is telling the story of where we are today during the pandemic.
Awesome.
So maybe when we're back, I'll be doing more of these, and I'm always drawing. Like, I do have some pieces in process.
Fantastic. Well, I feel like the Zoom room is such an interesting concept, and again, getting back to that idea of farthest from the ordinary. We're so thankful to have Nanci here with us this evening to tell us a little bit about her work. And Farthest from the Ordinary, the Friends Juried exhibition, is on view at the Delaware Contemporary now through January 8th. So come on by, and then maybe we'll keep in touch with Nanci and see what her Zoom room looks like and what's beyond Zoom in 2021. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you so much.